Hi, and welcome to From First Kiss to Wedded Bliss. I'm your host, Marcy Sullivan, and joining me today is Macey Walters. She is part of Date Your Spouse. Welcome, Macey.
Thank you so much, Marcy. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Awesome. Would you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I'm Macey. I am the creative writer for Date Your Spouse, previously The Dating Divas. I'm the sole writer right now. I absolutely love it. I love coming up with date ideas and getting real posts. Those are the more, real topics we discuss. That I love those. Those are some of my favorites. A little bit about me personally. I have three kids. I homeschool. I love Disney and Harry Potter, and I will never turn down chocolate.
Oh, I'm with you on the chocolate all the way. So I guess Halloween was fun for you.
Oh, yes. Yes, I collected the mom tax as soon
Okay,
as the kids went to bed.
good plan. Well, I wanted to share with you a couple of items that I've gotten from formerly Dating Divas. One of these that's almost all used up is the dates around the world.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely love it. And
Isn't
what
that
we've done
fun?
with this is used it as a group date night. And we'll
Oh,
tell
okay.
our friends, bring a dish, and this is the theme. We've even turned it into, well, I know you guys had it as looking up things on Google Maps,
Mhm.
but I'll instead find a YouTube video, a travel video about that area. So we'll watch that after we eat and do the trivia and all the fun things that are in that. And then we will also look up that country and find out how we can pray for them. So
Oh,
that's been another
wow.
added thing that we really enjoy about
Yeah.
that. So we
That's
have just a few more, like I said, and everybody always loves it. So
yeah.
thank you for that. And then here is one of, now this is of course my own album, but you'll recognize the 52 dates, right?
Oh, I
We've
love
done, we've
it.
completed an album, and I went ahead, I was so inspired with the ideas there. I started another album, and I think that one is full. So what I what I love about those things is that it gets you out of the mold of dinner and a movie. You have
Mhm.
different ways to relate to each other.
Absolutely.
So
Put a little
how
bit
did,
more creativity into that
yes,
date night. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. I love having experiences either with my husband or with the family. And a lot of those dates that you guys come up with are great for family too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's awesome. Now, how did you come to be part of Date Your Spouse?
So me, I have always loved the dating divas. They've been around for 13 years.
Mm.
And 5 years ago, I was like, you know what? I need something for myself. I need an outlet for my for my creativity. And it was during the pandemic and we were all home and I thought I've always loved writing. And so I was like, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to reach out to this company and they were actually hiring and it was perfect timing and it was kind of a grueling not grueling, but I had to present a lot to them to show them like this is what I can do.
Hmm.
And I got hired. They liked the stuff that I did. And so I've been with them for about 5 years now. And it's been just a whirlwind adventure. I have just thoroughly enjoyed my experience. And it's definitely benefited my husband. I took a chance on myself, and that's one of the first times I've ever really done that.
Well, it sounds like it worked out for you.
It sure did.
Yeah. Well, you kind of referred to it, but my next question was going to be about how did your spouse change the dynamic of your marriage? Has it helped you be more creative in your own marriage? Things like that?
Absolutely. When I started this, I had a newborn, and newborns are, I mean, they take up a lot of time. Kids in general take up a lot of time. And, my husband and we kind of forgot that you've probably seen that triangle where it's your God, your husband, and your children, right?
Mm-hmm.
We forgot about each other. We were, putting ourselves on the back burner. We're focusing on our children, and motherhood is such a beautiful, beautiful part of my life right now. I love the stage that I'm in and the stage my kids are in. But I did forget that my husband is such a huge part of that and that he does need to come first a lot of time, if not all the time. And we were missing out on connection and stuff because we were so focused on being good parents.
Mm-hmm.
And when I've been following the Dating Divas for years now, Date Your Spouse, and they always inspired me to do fun dates. And we did those, but there was still something else. And we realized it was that intention. And that is what Date Your Spouse is all about, is putting that intention back into marriage. And just because, you had that spark when you were dating, the spark doesn't have to die when you get married. It changes and you can nurture it and make it bigger and better than it ever was. And you grow with each other. And date night doesn't have to stop. Date night is great, but being intentional with each other and putting each other first. And it's really those little things that can make a big difference. And Date Your Spouse really reminded my husband and I that us two together is what will make the rest of our family life thrive.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that is our core. That's our mission.
Yes. Oh, that sounds so good. You definitely are a resource that I recommend to anybody who talks to me very long about marriage and making it great. I totally agree with that word, intentional. That is so important because what you invest in is what's going to, well, first of all, it shows where your heart is, but it also is what you're going to see results in, I think, where you
Yes.
put that time, that effort. So
Mhm.
that's wonderful. I really like that. You kind of referred to this in your own life as far as, well, when the kids came along, our relationship kind of got put on the back burner. And what would you say for couples who've kind of gotten to routine, and what's one simple thing that they could start doing to date their spouse again? What's something intentional they might do?
My needs have changed and my husband is the same way. And so I would say, first of all, communicate and get it all out there, ask each other, how can I better support you? And another thing is asking each other, what is intentional? What does that mean to you? What can I do to show you that I'm being intentional with my love?
Yes, I think that's a great observation because we do tend to show love in the way that we want to receive it. And it may not be the way, like you said, that they feel loved. And so what you're referring to is like the five love languages,
Yes.
which many people are familiar with. And that's a great place to start, I think, is to just, like you said, have that conversation. What feels like love to you? What do you need more of? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I think too often we just make assumptions and keep going. But it's wise. The successful people don't assume. So
Yeah.
that's really good. One intentional thing that I enjoyed using Date Your Spouse recently was my husband and I did the flirtation challenge. Yes. So that was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed doing things that I don't normally do, giving me some new ideas. So I totally recommend that. If you guys do that again, it's wonderful.
It's a lot of people, it's just one of the feedbacks. I think it's not an annual thing. So keep your eyes open.
um, what do you say to a spouse who feels discouraged because their partner doesn't seem interested in dating or reconnecting? Do you have any ideas for them?
Communicate that. Let them know, hey, I know you love me. I know you love me. Can we try this? And another thing, don't put all the blame on that spouse, right? There's that popular thing where they say don't use I statements, use we statements, or sorry, no, don't use you statements, use I statements. Um, that's what my husband did. He said, I am just feeling really disconnected right now. How can we get back to, who we were before, or even a better version of who we were before? And I really appreciated that. It took a lot of that guilt off my shoulders and a lot of that, oh, this is my fault type thing.
Mhm.
And so, approach your spouse as I want this for us. This is not just something I want. This is something I want for both of us. And I think when you approach it that way, the spouse that may be feeling a little like they're not wanting to put a lot of effort, and if they hear this is something you want for the two of you, I think they'll be a lot more willing to give it a try, get a try, because it doesn't feel as attacking and, oh, you don't plan date night, you don't do this.
Yes.
Um, and it's hard because sometimes you put all that effort in and you try for a week and then you get back into the mundane, oh, I'm not trying anymore. And that's hard. And I would say my advice at that point is to have grace and to have love and understanding. God does the same thing with us. None of us are perfect,
Hmm.
and he still shows up for us. And I really think if you continue to show up for that spouse that's struggling with that, the more they see you putting into it, I really do believe they will see that example and they'll start to follow along when they're ready, right?
Hmm.
And that's what's hard is sometimes waiting on that. But we're all in this for the long run, right?
Right.
And just loving and supporting unconditionally.
Yes, that is true. And I love what you just said because that's what I see. Marriage for the long run. Yes, we have to have that long-term vision. And why don't we want to have the happiest version of that as we can? Right? We don't
Right.
need to just suffer through it or trudge through it. If we're feeling that
Mhm.
way, then there's an opportunity for a discussion. And like you
Mhm.
said earlier, that idea of get back where we were, or maybe even a better version of ourselves, because we do change, through the years. You've got young kids. Mine are almost empty nest. I'm got one more in high school right now. So there's different versions of us, and our marriage will also shift with those
Mhm.
changes. But there's no reason that you can't ever have to fall out of love, like you were saying earlier. I totally agree with that. As long as you keep making the investments, keep being intentional, you're going to keep those loving feelings up there.
Absolutely.
So I love
Absolutely.
all that. Uh,
And love is
mhm,
a choice and it's work.
mhm,
It's not always easy to this is going to sound crazy. It's not always easy to love our spouse, right? They can do something during the day to make us, to upset us or whatever, and we can all be difficult to love at times. But everyone that thinks that love is easy and it's this feeling that you get and it lasts throughout the rest of your life, it's not like that. But if you put in the work and you put in that investment, like you're saying,
mhm,
it will be. And
mhm.
it'll be a stronger love than you've ever experienced in your life. But you have to put the time into it. All good things take time and all good things take effort as well.
I couldn't agree more. You're right on. So you've mentioned God and that triangle.
Mhm.
Does faith play a role in the way that you and your husband stay intentional about your marriage?
Absolutely. I Our faith is the foundation of what my husband and I do, right? And the way we see it, God designed marriage as a reflection of his love. It's steady and joyful and full of grace. And when when my husband and I, when we realized that we need to approach marriage with that perspective, every act of love not only benefited us, but it was also a way of honoring God. And coming back to that again, like God loves us so wholly and purely and unconditionally, and realizing that if he can love us like that in those messy bits of our lives and those times where we're not perfect and we're making mistakes, if he can do that for us, he can do that for our spouse. And we
Mhm.
need to do that for our spouse, and our spouse needs to do that for us. And it's I keep saying this word, but it's grace. It's giving each other grace and realizing, yeah, I didn't marry a perfect person, and but we can become perfect together and become or work, maybe not perfect, but we can work towards becoming better together. And
Mhm.
God will help you with that. He will help you with all good things. And especially marriage. That is one of the most sacred covenants you can make in this life is marrying your spouse. And God wants to be involved in that. And once my husband and I realized that, I mean, I'm not saying our life all of a sudden got easier, right? And our marriage didn't get easier, but it it made it easier to approach hard things, and it made it easier to give each other that love and grace.
Mhm.
And I could go on and on
Ah,
about that. So stop me anytime, but it's God is at the center of all good things and love, and he's the perfect example of love.
absolutely. Really great stuff. And I wanted to say also, a lot of times people look to their spouse to meet needs that only God can fill.
Right. Yeah.
And so when we're getting our cup full every day from the Lord first, we're not coming across as needy, and we're not making our spouse feel like they can't do enough, because
Right.
sometimes that is the case. Like, I
Yeah.
can't make you happy. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think genuinely, we do want to make each other happy as much as it's possible for us. But there are certain things, that sometimes people have such high expectations. Do this for me and then I'll be happy. Do this for me and then I'll be happy. No, we need to
No,
start with getting our fulfillment with the Lord, having that vertical relationship right. Then we'll have something to give to those
exactly.
around us in our family and outwardly. So very
Exactly.
good. Yes, faith should be for every Christian should be an integral part of their marriage and making it successful. What's one mindset shift that every couple needs to make if they want a long lasting, joy filled marriage? What do you think is a mindset shift that's
Hmm.
key to having a long lasting, joy filled marriage?
I think, well, and I don't see this, I know this because this is something that I've, especially in recent years, tried really hard to put into my marriage. Um, Marriage isn't for you, right? It's not, if you're going into it thinking, I mean, your wedding day was all about you. I I think the most important, there's two things that pop into mind for a mindset shift. One of those is stop asking what you're going to get out of your marriage. And I think this can go for a lot of things, not just your marriage,
Mm-hmm.
but stop asking yourself, what am I going to get from this? And start asking, what can I put into it? And the moment we start asking ourselves, what can I do for my spouse? How can I serve my spouse today? How can I love them today? It's going to get easier and easier with time. It's going to become second nature. It's going to be a habit, right? And it's marriage and love and everything is not about us. And I mean, God, again, is the perfect example. It's not about him, it's about how he serves us, how he loves us. And having that same mindset in your marriage, I think, is so important. And that's something that my husband and I have experienced as well, is we took ourselves out of it and said, okay, how can I love thee today? And the other thing is, and I think this is a problem in this day and age where it's not only instant gratification, but it's the mindset of I'll be happy when. And we need to take that off the table. It's not I'll be happy when, it's I can be happy now. It's not happily ever after, it's happily ever now. And it's joy in the journey. Joy and happiness is not a final destination. It should be something, and it can be something that you can experience every single day, including in your marriage. And that is something my husband and I have experienced firsthand. We live in my in-laws' basement right now because the housing market here in Utah is insane. We were prior military. We left the military right as things got kind of crazy. And it's very easy to get caught up in, we'll be happy when we have a house. We'll be happy when, we have our own bedroom and our kids aren't busting in, and we have our own space. And it's so easy to get caught up in kind of those worldly things. And it's okay to want those things for your marriage and for yourself and for your life. But telling yourself I'll be happy when kind of puts an expiration on your joy that you're going to experience in this life, because once you get to that point, then what? Are you just going to be automatically happy the rest of your life? Of course not. There's going to be other trials and things that happen, and learning to serve each other and love each other now in the midst of all the chaos, in the midst of the hard days, and especially on the days where you're finding it a little harder to love your spouse. Those are the days that you need to find ways to be happy with them, and that those are the days you need to serve them a little more too.
Mm-hmm.
And that will greatly benefit you as well.
That's excellent. And I heard every word.
Good. Good. Okay.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about in regards to happiness right now is really gratitude,
Mhm.
being grateful. For instance, in your circumstance, at least we have a place to live. We're not
Yes.
living out of our car, right?
Yes.
When we start looking at all those blessings that we have right now, that adds to our happiness right
Mhm.
now. So I really appreciate those ideas about the mindset shift of it's not about me. What can I do for you? And finding that happiness right now where you're at instead of that thing over there on the horizon that
Yes.
you almost never reach it. You
Yeah.
get close and then it moves.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So that's really good. Now, what is your opinion on um, thriving marriages? What do you think they have in common? What would you say are some key factors that thriving marriages would have in common? What do they have in common?
What they have in common is, again, I keep saying this word, grace for each other and realizing that the person they married is not perfect. And
Hmm.
something else too, the person you married on the day you said I do should not be the person that you're married to still. And let me explain that. Of course, you're going to be with your same partner, right?
Hmm.
But they need to grow and they need to change, and you need to grow and change. And if you're expecting that same person that you said I do to, you're kind of setting a really hard expectation because then you're expecting them not to ever change and grow. Thriving marriages grow with each other, and each spouse allows each other to grow in the ways that they need to grow individually and grow together.
Hmm.
Um, another thing, again, that triangle, putting God first. Thriving marriages recognize that God is in the center of our marriage and it should be the center of our home life. Um, and making daily habits to connect with each other and with God. Starting the morning with a prayer together, or if you're not in a circumstance where you can do that, I mean, text each other, "Hey, I'm grateful for you today. I said a prayer for you today." Pray
Hmm.
for your spouse. Please pray for your spouse. Of course, we all want to ask for blessings for ourselves, but we should be praying for our spouse. And um, I think another thing too is approaching things as a team.
Hmm.
And especially in those parenthood years, it is so easy to get caught up in, "Oh, dad said no. Well, I think it's okay. I say yes," type thing, right?
Hmm.
Even if I do think it is okay and that my husband didn't need to say no, I need to stand by him and parent as a team. I need to show him that we are a united front, not only with our children, but with friends and with family. And if my husband isn't allowed at your table, then I will not be at your table. And that can be hard, but it is so important that your spouse knows without a doubt that you have their back and that
Hmm.
you are on their team and you love them unconditionally and you will support them through the hard times. And
Yes.
um yeah, I think that's what was that, three or four? I think those are the top
Yeah.
three things that
Okay.
come to
Wow.
mind.
Yes. I think you answered that quite well. The last thing I always like to ask in closing is, and you've given a lot of intentional ideas, but what is something intentional that you do in your own marriage to help keep it strong?
So my husband, his this goes back to the love languages. His love language, he has two. It's time and
Mhm.
it's physical touch. And there's days where I don't feel like touching anybody. I'm out touched. I'm a mom, you know. But I find times throughout the day to either, touch my husband on the back and just pat him on the back and say, "I love you."
Mhm.
Um, there's times where, I believe so strongly in when you're leaving the house, give each other a big kiss, give each other a big hug, and let them know that you love them as they're walking out the door. That means a lot to my husband. Um, for the time, I can have a busy day, but carving out at least 30 minutes of doing something that means a lot to him.
Mhm.
Um, I bake him his favorite treat once in a while. That
Yeah.
benefits me as well.
Uh-huh.
Um, but loving him the way that he wants to be loved, and it looks different every single day. And I do ask him that every single day. How can I love you today? What do you need today? And sometimes it's, I would love a batch of brownies. Cool, easy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but uh, the way that I've truly grown, especially over the past year, and the way that I've truly tried to be more intentional is looking at him through God's eyes. And
Yeah.
you're not ever going to be perfect. I'm not either, but I love you anyway. And I love you despite everything else. And I see you're perfect in my eyes.
Mhm.
And it takes work to see that. And yeah, just seeing him as the son of God that he is.
Mm. That's really great. That's so beautiful. And I think that idea of acceptance, what you said about, well, you're perfect to me. And
Hmm.
I always had a joke with my husband that you're practically perfect. Like Mary
Yeah.
Poppins, she's
Yes.
practically perfect in every way. Because none of us are. None of us are perfect, but we can accept one another as we are
Hmm.
and, encourage them, of course, to do
Hmm.
do better, but in a loving way So those are all really wonderful things. I've so much enjoyed our conversation today, and I hope that everybody listening is going to go look at Date Your Spouse. Is there any resources you would like to share with us before we go? Any closing, how do we find you, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so our website is dateyourspouse.com. That's where you'll find all of our date ideas, all of our getting real posts where we talk about, real things in marriage. We also have our Instagram, Date Your Spouse Official, where we put a lot of our content on there too to make it a little easier to find. We have the 10-minute marriage challenge that we do every quarter, I believe. I think the one we're doing right now, mm, it's already going.
Mm,
So, but keep your eye on that. The 10-minute marriage challenge is much like Operation Flirtation, but it's a
mm,
3-month thing, not just a 2-week thing.
mhm.
Um, and final thoughts, honestly, this is something that has been, sitting, it's been on my heart this entire time, is I want people to know that marriage isn't about finding the right person, it's about becoming the right person
Yes,
over and over again.
right.
And when we choose to date our spouse, we're choosing to keep discovering them and we're
Mm,
choosing to keep discovering ourselves. And just because you've said I do does not mean that you have to stop dating each other. In fact,
yes,
it should mean you're dating each other even more. And
right.
we've got all that for you.
Yes, yes, yes. I still do over and over again.
Yes, yes,
Well,
I still do.
thank
I love
you
that.
so
You're
much for your
welcome.
time. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm sure the all of our audience has as well.